Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? Welcome to another episode of Barefoot Conversations with Magdalene Adenike. How are you doing, guys? How are things been? How was your week? And gentlemen, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of Barefoot Conversations with Magdalene Adenike. How are you? Sorry, guys. How are things been? How was your week? And gentlemen, how are you doing? So sorry. It was open in another system. Okay, how is everybody going? How is everything with you? Let me know. I'm very interested in just finding out how you guys are doing. Anyways, what's today's topic about? Today's topic is a wonderful one. And the topic literally started its formation within me on Sunday night. And it's makeup, the root of all evil. Is makeup the root of all evil? And so some people were like, makeup? What are you talking about? Like I said, the formation started within me on Sunday night. So Sunday night, went out, bank holiday weekend and all that. So went out and just sat there looking. I was just observing. This was set at the back, so just observing so many different things. And loads of women were there, as well as men. But the thing that really stood out for me was the women. And I remember whispering to my brother. I was there with my brother and my dad. I remember whispering to my brother, and I said to my brother, is makeup meant to enhance the beauty, or has it turned to something else? And he was laughing. And so that's the question I want to ask you this morning. When you put makeup on, what is the makeup for? Is it to enhance your already God-given beauty? Or is it to mask and cover up something else? Some people put makeup on because they just love the way, how they look, and they put the makeup on just because of that. And others put it on because of the fact that they want to enhance or they want to cover up some certain things. I'm not here bashing makeup, please. I think I've had a talk about makeup before. That's not what this is about. If you look at the write-up of today's show, you will find that I'm using makeup in a sense of confidence and self-esteem. That's what I'm talking about. And before I go into today's show even further, I just want to talk about a mentee of mine, one of my mentees. I remember the first day I met her, she sent me, because obviously we hadn't met before, so we've been communicating via email. So I said to her, send me at least a picture of how you look so that when we finally do meet, I will know who it is I'm looking out for. So she sent me a picture of herself. And I looked at this young lady and I was like, wow. The first thing that jumped out of me was the fact that this is a young lady, a beautiful young lady who was hiding so much inside under the mask that she had in her face. It was a picture, but for me, when they say a picture tells 1,000 words, the picture, you could see in her eyes, the eyes are the windows to the soul. The eyes were yearning for something. The eyes were giving her away in a sense that I need more. The eyes were crying out for help. But all I could see was that makeup, that full on foundation and everything. And so when we finally met now, she didn't have any makeup on. She just came plain and we met in a coffee shop. And I looked at her and I was like, I like this. I really do like this. You look really nice. And she said, oh, don't look at me. I don't have my makeup on. That was the first thing when I saw her, obviously, and I waved to her and I'm like, I'm here. And then, she said, don't look at me. I don't have my makeup on. I was like, that's the first thing you say to somebody, a random stranger who you've never met. Yes, we've been communicating via email, but you've never met me. Why would that be your first thing to say? And that's what she said. So I was like, okay, well, she sat down. I said to her, why say that? She was like, her head was bowed down. She said, oh, because she doesn't have her makeup on and she doesn't feel secure. She said she doesn't feel beautiful because she doesn't have her makeup on. She's got breakouts on her skin and so she doesn't feel beautiful. And I looked at her and I was like, you are a very beautiful young lady. And so I began to encourage her before we even began to talk business. So let me come back to today's topic. Is makeup the root of all evil? There are two kinds of people in this world. You have the young lady I've just spoken about, who uses makeup as a mask to cover up their insecurities, to cover up their flaws on their faces, to cover up their low self-esteem. And they feel that by once they put that makeup on, it's almost like as if they put on a different persona. So it's a different person that you're seeing, a more upfront person, someone that is more confident or appears more confident. And that person goes around with their head above their shoulders, their head up in the air, saying that, you know, look at me, I'm very confident. And then when that same person doesn't have the makeup on, it's like almost Jekyll and Hyde character. They're very different people, very different individuals. And then you look at the other set of people now who use makeup as enhancer. They know that they've got some great features already, and they just want to enhance what they have already, so that they're not trying to use makeup to cover up any flaws, even if they have flaws, because all of us have some form of insecurities in one way or the other. So maybe they've got a spot and they're like, oh, I don't like that, so they put a little bit of foundation to cover that up. Or they just, you know, just to enhance this. People have complimented that they've got great eyes, so they use the makeup to enhance the mascara, to enhance their eyelashes, to just kind of bring out the beauty even more in the eyes, or, you know, whatever they use it for, but not to bring about a different personality. So a direct opposite from the group A, the first group of people who use makeup to cover up their insecurities, their low self-esteem, their fears, their confidence issues, their parents' issues, and all those kind of things. So has makeup become the root of all evil? You find, I was talking about this young lady who was a mentee of mine. You find many young ladies, especially growing up. For me, I can relate to that because I felt that when I was in my teens going to school, I felt that I needed to put all this foundation, very cheap and nasty foundation, on my face in order for me to fit it in, because all my friends were doing that. So I needed to do that as well so that I can look presentable. But there was nothing wrong with my skin. Obviously, you go for adolescence and then you have the breakout of the spots and all the rest of it. It's normal. But outside of that, there was nothing else wrong with my skin. And so, but I didn't know that at that time, because obviously being a young person, you want to fit in, you want to be like everybody else. So I went ahead putting all this foundation on, and guess what? I was already having spots on my face, but guess what happened to me? I had breakouts of the most ridiculous amount of spots that you can never imagine. So big, and they were all hair. They were just literally on my chin here, all hair. And I think some of my forehead, but hair, and on my cheek, some big, massive, nasty looking spots on my face. But did I learn my lessons? No, I didn't. I continued applying it. And every time I applied it, it became worse. And then I would use all these chemicals to clean my face up, because I was like, it said you should do this, the adverts tell you, oh, it takes away the spots, it does that. I'm not doubting it does, but it was not the right thing for my skin tone. But I was using all this thing and making matters worse. So I was going around in a very vicious circle until I came to my own. I'm going to talk about that again later. Until I came to my own and I said to myself, you know what, Magdalene, you've had this face now for over 30 odd years. It's time to really acknowledge what your desires are, what the face wants and what it doesn't want, and work with it. And that's what happened. That's what I had to do. I had to learn this. This is way before I got to my 30s, way before I even reached my mid-20s. And so that's the thing with us, is makeup the root of all evil. Many of us are hiding our low self-esteem, our insecurities behind makeup. We don't feel as if we're good enough. We don't feel that we are pretty enough. We don't feel that there's nothing we can offer to anybody. And remember, I talked about parents' issues. This particular young lady, because of the breakouts that she had in her skin, she had acne. Her mom told her that she was so ugly that she should never, ever, ever, ever step out of the house without applying a truckload of makeup on her face. And I mean a truckload, loads and loads and loads of it. Her mom told her that. So when I was speaking to her, She was almost in tears because she said, you are saying something to me that is contrary to what my mom has been telling me. My mom has told me that I'm not beautiful. My mom has told me that I should never step out of the house without makeup. And she said, the only reason why I'm coming to see you today without makeup is because of the fact that I was running late. And this girl, without going into much details, but one of the issues that has caused her to have low self-esteem, outside of obviously what her mom said to her, was the fact that her and a circle of her friends, unfortunately, had been raped. And in her case, she had been raped twice. And she's had several partners who had told her that she was no good. But for some reason, she just kept attracting the same kind of partners. And you see why she was hiding behind all those makeup. Hiding. So the makeup itself, don't get me wrong, the makeup itself is not the issue. I'm not talking about that. That's not the issue. Everybody has their desires. I have makeup on. I've got not foundation. I don't wear foundation. I've got eyeshadow and all the rest on my, especially around my eye region. That's spread, and blushes. That's predominantly what I use. But the makeup itself is not the issue, so I'm not bashing makeup. What I'm saying is that when we use it as a mask to hide those deep-rooted issues that we need to deal with, that's where the problem is. That's when it becomes the root of all evil. So for this young lady and many other women out there who wear it to cover, women and young ladies, to cover up their insecurities, what you're doing, you're not actually covering anything up. What you're doing, you're just prolonging those issues that you need to deal with now. You're prolonging them for another day. Because if you don't deal with a matter now, it doesn't go away. It does not go away. What it does, it just stays in one place waiting for you. And when then it finally comes to the point that you can no longer ignore it, instead of dealing with something that was as small as a seed, it could have grown and grown and grown and magnified itself to something even bigger. Remember, a tree doesn't make a forest. One tree doesn't make a forest. Until you plant loads of other trees, then you eventually can say this is a forest. So if you wanted to tackle an issue, it's easier if you're able to tackle one issue. It's easier and it's quicker than trying to tackle. So imagine that one tree now has some problems with it. It could be two things. You can treat it or you have to cut it down and start again. So for that one tree, it's easy to just treat it or cut it down and you know that's it. But imagine if there are thousands of them. It's not that it's impossible, but obviously it's more time consuming. So when we don't deal with those deep-rooted issues, when we don't deal with those parental issues, when we don't deal with those self-esteem issues, whatever that has caused you to have low self-esteem, but instead we're masking it with some other things out there, it doesn't go away. It's just waiting for you. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you till that day. There is always one day. That one day, you can never go past that one day because you must deal with that one day. And that's what it's doing. So please, I want to reiterate again, makeup in itself is not what I'm talking about. I'm not bashing makeup. What I am bashing is the fact that people use it. Certain people use it as a mask to cover up their insecurities. But regardless of how much you put on your face or how little you put on your face, the eyes are the windows to the soul. The eyes give it away all the time. When you are crying out, you are yearning for help. You are yearning for support, and you feel that no one else is listening to you. You feel that nobody can understand what you're going through. You feel that you are almost being drowned by your problems. You need to speak out, because if you allow those problems to weigh you down, if you allow those problems to hold you back, you will never achieve your God-given goals here on this earth. And the second thing I said I was going to park and come back to was finding your voice. And I said that about myself. I've given myself, I like to use myself as an example so that people don't say she's talking about somebody else. I talked briefly about a mentee of mine without going into much details. And I've talked about myself again. As a young lady, most of us when we're in school, adolescence age, you want to fit in. So we've all been there. You want to fit in with your peers. I wasn't using makeup before. My mom didn't even condone it, but somehow I would go with friends who go and buy this little cheap 99p makeup. Anyways, that's another story for another day. Put it on your face. Your face, that you have the odd spots here and there because of the age you're in, but apart from that, nothing else. Then you begin to apply. So it's just like having a dustbin. You buy the bin, or you have a plastic bag and you put your rubbish in. So instead of putting all your rubbish into a designated area, you no longer do that. What you do, you come into your sitting room and you pour all your rubbish onto your sitting room table or your dining table. Would anybody look at you and say, this person is normal? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't normally do that. But then when you are putting stuff on your body, when you're applying stuff on yourself, trying to mask the true issue that you need to deal with, that's what you're basically doing. You're pouring rubbish on yourself, thinking that by pouring rubbish on yourself, you're covering yourself, you're masking yourself, but you can only mask yourself for a little while. And most especially, I think my pet hate, and I made a statement about that I did a note on that on social media sometime last year. My advice to all my lovely sisters out there, especially sisters of color out there. I'm not bashing anybody, but please, this is my advice to you. Please, when you go out there to buy foundation and the makeup that you need, please look for something that is very close to your skin tone. Do not buy something that makes you appear so ridiculous that you're walking around as a laughing stock, that people look at you and think, what's wrong with this individual? I was led to put this post out last year because I saw some pictures of some people, a particular lady, one that was just that's what triggered it off for me. From the neck down, she's the same skin tone as me. The face up, she's as white can be. And I said to myself, what is this? What is this? And the sad thing about it is that you could see the contrast. There was a difference with the line contrast. You could see where the makeup ended and where the real skin tone began. And for me, that was really sad and pitiful. So for all my sisters out there, and indeed for all my brothers out there who have wives, who have sisters, who have cousins, who have mothers who are doing this, please let us deal with the deep-rooted issues. And I need to make this disclaimer again. I am not here bashing makeup. What I am saying to each and every one of us is that we should not use makeup or indeed anything else as the mask to cover up those deep-rooted issues that we need to deal with. If you do not deal with it today, you are just pushing it for another day. It will not go away. It will not go away. You need to handle the issue today. Handle the issue today. And then learn how to be able to deal with those issues as you move on in life. So I ask you the question, and I ask myself the question, is makeup the root of all evil? Yes, if it's used to cover up your insecurities, if it's used to cover up low self-esteem, if it's used to cover up problems around you. And know if it's used in a proper way. If a young lady growing up because she wants to fit in with her peers chooses to wear makeup, then she needs to be advised on how to do so. But also she needs to be told way beforehand that she is beautiful. She's got a lovely skin, even if, and that applies to the boys as well. Even if he or she may have spots coming up from their face because of the age that they're at, they're adolescents, so there's hormonal changes taking place. So all of these things are expected. So they need to be told that, you know what, your body is going through various changes right now. Hence the reason you are seeing several things that you never saw before. But nonetheless, you are still very beautiful. You are still very handsome. These are the things, these are the messages we need to be instilling into the minds of our children. Because if we do not instill such powerful messages within them, The media will tell them something totally different. The images they see will tell them something different. Their friends will tell them something different. Society will tell them something different. So you, as the parent, as the carer, you that have some form of responsibility over that young man, over that young woman, in one way or the other, whatever capacity that you have that responsibility. Let that sense of self-worth be instilled within, excuse me, let that sense of self-worth be instilled within that young person, because they need to know that the greatness lies within. It starts from within. They need to know that they can do whatever they choose to do once they put their minds to it and are ready to work and be committed and dedicated. That regardless of how long the journey may be, that regardless of whatever difficulties that they may be experiencing at this moment in time, if indeed whatever it is that you're doing is meant to be, it will surely, and I repeat myself again, it will surely come to be. So I really I'm cautious of my time as I come to the end, and I say this to each and every one of us listening here right now. It is enough. It's enough, not it is enough. It's enough. It's enough of seeing our children growing up with insecurities. Because you have children who are growing up with insecurities and then grow up, if those insecurities are not dealt with as children, they grow up and become adults with insecurities. And they have children who they instill those insecurities to, and unfortunately, the vicious circle continues. And then the society will be so quick to blame, it's that person. But remember, I've said this before, when you are pointing a finger at a person, guess what? Others are pointing back to you. So what are you doing to instill something great and positive into the life of that young person? Bearing in mind that that young man, that young woman is our future leaders, as I talked about last week. What are you doing to instill that sense of positive mindset? What are you doing to instill that sense of self-worth within them, to make them feel that they are good enough? What are you doing? Don't be quick to blame. What are you doing to support that individual? And so for those of us who are adults, who never had that, who never had anybody to instill that sense of self-worth within us, it's not too late. Hence the reason that this platform is here. I speak to us on different topics, but the general thread about everything I speak about is about empowerment, encouragement, letting the individual know that you are good enough, that there is greatness inside of you, and that you can achieve whatever it is that you set your mind to do. So long you are willing and you are dedicated and committed to whatever that cause may be. So I'm going to pause here, guys, and say to you, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself and feel that that's it. It's never it. Until you're 6 foot under, there is still chance for a change. There is still a hope for you. Don't give up on yourself and feel that you can never achieve greatness again. Stop hiding behind those masks that you've gotten so accustomed to. Stop hiding behind that mask and stand up. Find yourself. Come to your own. Find your own voice. Stop listening to other people's voices and then using their voice to speak to yourself. Find your own voice and begin to speak to your own self. Stop waiting for somebody else to speak to you before you become empowered. Stop waiting for somebody else to speak to you before you become encouraged. It's good for someone else to speak to you, but start it within yourself. Kickstart it, even when you don't feel like everything is going great for you. There has to be something, there has to be some form of a trigger for you to say, you know what, actually, irrespective of all this mess that's happening around me, actually, I can still put my head up high because of X, Y, and Z. Find that one thing, no matter how big or how small it may be. This is your girl, Magdalene Adenike. Just saying to you right now, be encouraged. Don't give up. I have faith in you. Until next time, have a great day, have a great week, and God willing, I'll see you again next week, Tuesday. Bye for now.